We have been living off-grid for about 4 years now. This whole time we have never had running water, and just like showering, dishes are an essential part of daily life. Doing dishes for us is a little bit different than for most of you, especially if you've had running water, but it's really not that much different. But today we're going to show you what we do. It's just a little bit more complex. Hello? There's no water. Oh yeah, we don't have running water. If you want to see more about this stove, I'll leave a card up in the front corner and I'll leave a link in the description. We have a whole video on the stove of how we make hot water and how we melt snow to make water in general. So I'm not going to go into too much detail in this video just because of that. Forgot the drain plug. I use this pot for my rinse water. I just dip everything and roll it in. Being how the trailer only has one single sink, if it had two sinks, then we'd have a wash and a rinse sink. But because we only have one, I use this. I like to rinse all my stuff off. If I don't, I find the soap leaves a residue on our dishes, and it's just something I prefer to do. I prefer to rinse it. Well, that's all there is to it. Doing dishes for us is not a lot different than doing dishes for you, other than we don't have running water. We do have a bit of a drain system that drains down into a homemade gray water system. Our last cabin, it drained down into a 5-gallon bucket under the sink that we had to carry outside and get rid of. But this one, because it's the RV, it still has the plumbing in it, so we have it set up that way. Other than that, there's not a lot of differences. The biggest thing is us having to make hot water because we don't have a propane fired hot water heater, and I wouldn't run one anyway because they just burn too much propane. And then having to carry it in buckets inside and dump it in the sink. That's about the only difference. Otherwise, we do dishes just like a normal person, at least as far as I'm considered like a normal person anyway. I use commercial dish soap. I've never been able to find a homemade recipe for any homemade soaps. I've made like body soap and laundry soap, but none of them have ever worked for dishes very well. They've always left a bit of a greasy film on the dishes, so I've never come up with a good recipe how to make my own dish soap. So that's the only reason why I use the commercial stuff, because it's the only stuff that seems to work very well.
No. Ladies and gentle rooster, peck her if you have to. Seriously. She's here to protect, not disrupt your life.